Hello. Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to present the Youth Services Expansion Proposal for the HARVIN-Clarendon County Library System. This proposal outlines a strategically designed weekly STEAM program intended to support elementary-age students in Clarendon County by improving access to educational enrichment, digital skills, and creative learning opportunities. Our approach reflects the library's role as a central community institution, one that complements local schools, responds to long-standing inequities, and delivers programs that are both financially responsible and educationally impactful. What we are seeking today is support for a structured, sustainable service enhancement that strengthens the library's youth programming while aligning with county, state, and educational priorities.
The library system that our team chose for our project is the HARVIN-Clarendon County Library with one branch in the town of Manning. This library has celebrated its 40th anniversary in its current home this year. Women's groups and other citizens in Manning donated land and money to establish it, and bricks from the old high school helped fund the building with their Buy a Brick program. When I visited this library, I noticed a statue outside of the library of a character from a well-loved children's book series. The character is Amelia Bedelia, and the author is Peggy Parrish, who is a Manning native. When entering the library, I noticed vaulted ceilings and big windows and light streaming in. The room is covered in murals full of local scenes, and although the library is small, it's well organized and has a charming, welcoming feel. Programming for the children include various book clubs, story hour, summer reading program, Lego hour, and homeschool connections, and a sensory hour that is geared toward children with autism. This library also offers many services for adults such as tax assistance, resume assistance, and technology hour. It has a staff of 9 and the director is Holly Cockfield. Manning is a town nestled among cornfields in rural Clarendon County. The county population is about 31,000 and is almost an equal mixture of white and black citizens. The population is mostly English-speaking. The largest and fastest growing segment of the population is 60 and older, and the county has a larger than average number of military veterans. These two statistics may contribute to the fact that a large segment of the community, 21%, have disabilities. The 2023 median income for the county is $48,887 per year. However, there is a wide disparity between the married segment of the population, whose average income is about $74,000 per year, and the single-person household, whose average income is $40,000 to $23,000 per year. The second largest segment of the population is women in their 30s and 40s, which may indicate a larger than usual group of single mothers. There is a 23% poverty rate in town, which explains why HARVIN-Clarendon Library has several programs to help with food and personal hygiene. Most people in town have a high school diploma, and some small number have additional education. The target group for our proposal is elementary age students, grades kindergarten through 6. There are 3 elementary schools in the county. Manning Elementary with 485 students, grades 4 through 6. Rose H. Wilder Elementary with 233 students, grades preschool to 5. And Walker Gamble Elementary with 540 students, grades pre-K to 5. Each school gets an annual report card rating. Among other things, academic achievement. The state has set goals for 70% of students to be at or above grade level by 2030, and 75% of students to be above grade level by 2035. Manning Elementary's grade level proficiency shows 65.3% of students proficient in math and 68.8% proficient in reading. Dr. Rose H. Wilder's scores are 75.5% and 75% respectively, and Walker Gamble's scores are 88.8% and 85.8%. Therefore, we have proposed STEAM programming at the HARVIN Clarendon Library to encourage and enhance numeracy and literacy in the county's elementary age students.
When it comes to the vision of this proposal, it lies in 4 factors. The first being the Briggs v. Elliott cases. The second being the 1993 lawsuit of Abbeville County versus the state of South Carolina. The third being the corridor of shame. And the fourth being the South Carolina ISCI report from 2023 to 2024. Beginning with the Briggs v. Elliott cases, its lasting effects are not entirely visible but are still felt by the citizens of the county today. Starting back in 1948 with the Pearson v. Clarendon case, the issue of separate but equal was a mainstay of the county's problems at the time. Pearson v. Clarendon began on the basis of providing equal transportation to students of Clarendon County. After being dismissed due to a land technicality and then rejected when taken over by his brother, the case was rolled into the Briggs v. Elliott cases. This will later be combined with the rest of Brown v. Board of Education. Moving to the next factor, there's the 1993 lawsuit of Abbeville County versus the state of South Carolina. After the passing of Brown v. Board of Education, progress was made towards a more equal education standard. Things were not perfect, however, in a deep South state such as South Carolina. Much like Clarendon, Abbeville County suffered from a long history of unequal education standards. They took the state of South Carolina to trial in 1993 to make the standards of education more equal. This shows that as we approach and live in modern times, the effects of Briggs v. Elliott are still felt today. The third factor is the corridor of shame. In 2005, there was a documentary explaining how the effects of this corridor are seen throughout the state. To give some explanation, the corridor of shame is a stretch through the state of South Carolina that depicts the rural counties and their unequal standards of education, their unequal amounts of funding, and the poverty that is experienced in these counties due to the effects of Jim Crow and other situations that have been prominent in the South. And this corridor is plagued with poor facilities, poor test scores, and many other dire situations when it comes to education and when it comes to being able to provide for the students that attend schools within this corridor. We can see the effects of this corridor when it comes to our fourth factor, the ISCI report card. Looking at Clarendon County as a whole, it is doing well when it comes to test scores. It's scoring in the 83 percentile for the index of the state. But when it comes to breaking it down by school, you'll notice that there seems to be a huge disparity between the schools. Of course, this also accounts for the distance between the schools and their resources. Specifically, when you focus on the high schools of this area, there is a large gap between the 3 high schools, with one high school boasting a index of around 92 within the index, but another school in this county is boasting a index score of around 64. This disparity is alarming when it comes to Clarendon County, which, again, as we stated, has such a history of unequal education standards, unequal distribution of resources, and just a general lack of foundation when it comes to education and infrastructure as a whole.
A SWOT analysis of the Clarendon County Library System yields the following points. One strength is their bookmobile. With only one branch of the library to serve the entire county, the bookmobile extends its reach with a regular circuit. The bookmobile can also be a resource for the program we are proposing by taking the STEAM events to each of the 3 elementary schools on a rotating basis. Another strength is the new library branch planned for Turbyville at the north end of the county. When it is completed, it will offer invaluable additional access to information, programming, and resources to the county residents, as well as supplemental educational opportunities for children and lifelong learning for adults. One weakness is the small staff. To successfully run an ambitious series of ongoing events such as we propose will require a significant investment of time and resources, necessitating a new part-time position to plan it and manage it. One opportunity is the Briggs Delane Pearson Education Center, which just opened at the south end of the county in Somerton, right next door to the Rose H. Wilder Elementary School. The 4,000 square foot building was dedicated in May of this year with the goal of supporting Clarendon County students through mentorship, academic assistance, and community programming. There is opportunity for a natural partnership between the BDP Foundation, the school system, and the library through this facility. Another opportunity is the result of the fruitfulness of the Clarendon County Economic Development Team. There have been almost $300 million in investments in manufacturing in just the past 12 months, and those investments are likely to generate more than 300 new jobs. This will certainly contribute to the prosperity and tax base of the county and make additional funds available for supporting other county assets, like the library system. One threat to the library is the county's $500,000 reduction in funding. In order to support the initiative we are proposing, that funding will need to be restored to pay for the additional staffing. The most critical piece of the budget for this proposal is convincing the County Council that the investment in the library is going to benefit the citizens of Clarendon County, spurring them to not only restore the reduced millage, but increase it. The return on investment information in the reports published by USC in 2006 and 2023 is a strong argument, as is the likelihood of mitigating the stigma cast over the entire I-95 corridor by the 2005 documentary Corridor of Shame. Improvement in educational outcomes also provides a better prepared workforce, in which the corporations that have located here have a vested interest. Making use of the state library's circulating kits would be an inexpensive way to plan and supply some of the events. Pursuing grants, such as the Infinite Sums Rural and Small Libraries Cohort Grant Program, the Jerry Klein Community Impact Prize for Public Libraries, the Library of Congress Literacy Awards, or other options through the Institute of Museum and Library Services would yield funds for supplies such as electronic resources, art supplies, etc. We propose that there be a county-wide contest to name the program. This could be one way to build public interest and buy-in.
Bigger partnerships. These partnerships are done to alleviate most of the issues that we see in Clarendon County. Given the location and rural nature of a good portion of Clarendon County, the partnerships should be focused on the opportunities that are offered to the patrons of the library. For example, a partnership with the state library will mostly involve a loaning of materials for patrons to access. Partnerships with organizations like Georgia Pacific and Westinghouse Electric focus on providing training and job help for adults, while also allowing some employees to speak to children about what they do as a career. The purpose of these programs is to bridge the distance and access gap that many families face in rural areas. Georgia Pacific specifically has a robust social stewardship program that focuses on what the company calls the 4 E's. The main focus that matters to this presentation is its focus on education through job training, tutoring, and scholarships to help local schools and libraries excel. Looking at their website, there is a large focus on literacy and STEM subjects, along with fostering community growth through mentorship programs. Westinghouse Nuclear, on the other hand, has their way of providing to the community. While not focused on community on their webpage, they do have their own form of social stewardship. They also offer the same form of training and internships to the public as well. Along with those, our potential partners are very vast and cover a wide range of different topics. Places like quality enclosures, places like the Hope Health Clarendon Memorial Hospital, and some simple and obvious partnerships like library education grants from our state and national governments. All of these partnerships come together to provide a strong foundation and base for funding and a base for advancement in Clarendon County as a whole.
This proposal centers on a series of weekly STEAM-based educational workshops delivered through a rotating hands-on learning model. Programming will take place primarily at the library, with additional monthly outreach through the bookmobile to ensure access for all elementary schools in the county. Science activities will introduce students to inquiry-based learning through portable experiment kits aligned with state science standards, encouraging curiosity and foundational scientific reasoning. Engineering sessions will encourage participants in structured design and problem-solving challenges that promote teamwork, perseverance, and applied reasoning. Mathematics instruction will reinforce numeracy through interactive games and manipulatives, helping students strengthen foundational skills in an approachable and engaging way. While each STEAM area plays an important role, this proposal places particular emphasis on technology and art and math, as these components address two critical needs in Clarendon County. The technology component focuses on building early digital literacy and problem-solving skills through hands-on, age-appropriate tools. Programming introduces students to basic coding, robotics, and logical sequencing through interactive activities designed to build confidence rather than encouraging passive screen use. Students will use tools such as Ozobots to allow learners to explore coding concepts through color-coded paths, visual commands, and increasingly complex programming tasks. These activities teach sequencing, debugging, and cause and effect relationships in ways that are accessible to a wide range of skill levels. Additionally, resources may include introductory robotics kits, simple circuitry sets, and guided literacy exercises that reinforce safe technology use and problem solving. These tools can be used both in the library and during bookmobile outreach, creating consistent learning experiences across settings. The art and music component integrates creative expression directly through literacy and numeracy learning. Art-based activities include visual storytelling and storyboarding to reinforce sequencing and comprehension, along with mixed media projects that represent vocabulary, patterns, symmetry, and fractions. Younger students may create pattern artwork using shapes and colors, while older students visual model word problems and geometric concepts. The music portion uses rhythm and sound to strengthen phonetic awareness, fluency, and mathematical thinking. Sample activities include clapping and tapping syllable patterns, using rhythm sticks, hand drums, and shakers to explore counting and sequencing, and participating in call and response storytelling. Simple instruments and digital music tools help students connect tempo, repetition, and pattern recognition to both reading and math skills. Together, these activities provide inclusive and engaging learning pathways while reinforcing core academic foundations. Evaluation is an essential component of this proposal and will be used to assess program effectiveness, equity of access, and long-term impact. The library will track participation statistics across all in-library workshops and bookmobile outreach sessions. This will include attendance numbers, basic demographics, and geographical participation data. These metrics will help ensure that the programming reaches students throughout the county and identify potential gaps in access. In addition to the participation data, the library will collect qualitative feedback and outcomes through input from parents, teachers, and participants. This feedback will be used to identify recurring themes related to student engagement, confidence, and perceived learning benefits, allowing staff to refine the programming as needed. To assess broader alignment and educational goals, the library will also review South Carolina ESSA school report card data for participating elementary schools on an annual basis. While academic performance cannot be attributed solely to library programming, this review will help contextualize the library's role as a supportive educational partner. Findings from these evaluations will be summarized and presented in the library's annual strategic plan updates for fiscal years 2026 and 2027, ensuring transparency, accountability, and informed decision-making moving forward. In conclusion, this proposal presents a realistic, community-centered plan to expand youth services through a robust STEAM program that leverages existing assets, strengthens school partnerships, and responds directly to community needs. By prioritizing technology and art and music components, we address both digital equity and creative development, two areas essential to long-term student success in Clarendon County. The proposal model is scalable, grant eligible, and operationally feasible within the library staffing and resource framework. Thank you for your time and consideration. We welcome questions, recommendations, and further discussion as we move forward implementing a program capable of strengthening learning opportunities for children throughout our county.